Good morning and happy Sunday, football fans. This is Sky Guasco with the Razzball Fantasy Football Show just after 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific a.m. on a beautiful Sunday morning. We got all your start-sit questions coming up live for you right now on the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Razzball Fantasy Football Show. We got the Quint box coming in hot once again for Week 2 NFL action. I'm your host, Sky Guasco. You can find me on the Xbox at Sky Guasco. We got Matty Styles at Styles08, Jefferson __21. We got Davey Cruz at Cruiser128, and Derek Favret, Derek _Favret. And everything Razzball, of course, available at Razzball NFL on X, football.razzball.com, all of our amazing articles. The guys are releasing articles every single day on football.razzball.com, and it's free. Go check it out right now. We also have a number of exclusive tools being used in our articles with our analysis available to you to use as well. Home and away splits, slot versus wide. We have some new offense and defensive line tools, actually, Derek, that I'm going to have you present and just open up to the people here in a second as we go around the table. You can introduce that to everybody. It's been super helpful starting my running backs this week. We have a number of your start-sit questions, of course, already in the log, and some trade questions as well coming in. You can listen to all of our episodes repurposed on the podcast at Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast. And boys, it's week 2. A lot of overreactions, an emotional week 1 in a number of ways, a lot of highs, a lot of lows. Time to get past it. If you're 1-0, enjoy it. If you're 0-1, don't fret. We have a long season ready to go. Gentlemen, I'm going to say good morning, and I'd like you to just give me one single thing that you kind of learned, found out, felt, whatever about week 1, and we'll just make it quick. Give me a sentence or two for the good morning intros, and then we're going to get into our week 2 pick'em as everybody else rolls in with your start-sit questions. Reminder to all the followers out there, please make sure to give us your league settings. So if you have a PPR question, please let us know. It's full PPR, half PPR, tight end premium, super flex, whatever. That really helps us answer your questions. Appreciate that. Enough of me. Styles, we'll start with you, buddy. What's one thing that you are maybe moving past from last week, you learned, you're benefiting from here in week 2? Good morning.
Good morning. I will tell you that it's unfair because it's actually 2 weeks for the Green Bay Packers. They played on Thursday. Somebody will have to update me on what happened. I didn't watch the game. Wink. What it tells me is that maybe this defense is for real. However, pump the brakes. 2 games at home. Thursday was prime time. Washington on a short schedule. Well, both on a short schedule. But it was a whiteout, right? It was the whole thing. And the defense looks really, really good. But the offense has not proved to put a team away yet in 2 weeks. So my fear is in the NFC, are you able to just put a team away and move on, right? Can Malik Willis play in the fourth quarter because you have put teams away? The interesting stat that I found, and I'm guessing with all the numbers that Jefferson and Dave and Derek look at, Sky, we're just entertainers here. We don't look at real numbers and stats. Jahmyr Gibbs in week 1 set an NFL record on the wrong side of the ledger for producing the least total receiving yards for any player with 10 receptions or more in a game.
Bob loves that. That's a huge half PPR stat.
Yes. He had 10 catches for 20 yards. PPR, 12 points.
Jeff, over under, you right now today. I'll give you like 3 hours to stretch. You today get 10 receptions against any team in the NFL you want, any offensive line to help you. Do you get 20 yards or not?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. Nice. So, Jeff, better than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Follow the blockers, and that'll work.
Nice. I love that.
Not about me, it's the team.
That's why we have you around here, bro. Good clubhouse guy. We like that. How did the Jags do last week, and how are we feeling for week 2?
Oh. Jags played well. It was the Panthers, so, nothing to write home about, but I liked what I saw play call wise. Trevor missed BTJ a couple times. I'm sure he'll get that under control, get the week 1, butterflies out of his system, and Jags are looking great. I'm excited about them. More about them later. One thing I would like to say is that kickers, man, they are just a bane of fantasy existence as well as real life. It's unfortunate that kickers have such an impact on games. One lost a job already. And that kind of leads to my next take is that I think the Bengals are frauds. I know they struggle against the Browns, but they didn't look very good. And I didn't pick them to make the playoffs. I feel confident about that still. And I think today we'll see them struggle again.
Davey Cruz, same question. What are you looking forward to in week 2?
Well, it was nice seeing that the Packers could still win without their best defender, Jared Goff.
Hey-o.
Yeah. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night in Las Vegas. See if the Raiders can keep it going against the Chargers, or if the Chargers can keep it going against the Raiders. Both teams coming off big wins in week 1. As far as today goes, the Super Bowl rematch is the game for me. I want to see if Kansas City can bounce back with no receivers but Hollywood Brown. I'm really concerned that Philly's going to control the line of scrimmage and just funnel the ball out to Hollywood Brown and the other 2 receivers. I think Kelsey's in for kind of a bad day.
Interesting. I like that. Yeah, a lot going on here, and we're not going to make too much of it now because it's just a rumor of a rumor, but a little bit shaky in Miami with Tyreek Hill, so maybe he moves back over to KC to help them out a little bit. We'll see if anything helps there, but otherwise they're scraping the barrel right now. Juju Smith-Schuster, a deep flex play these days. We'll see what happens. Derek, good morning. Same question, my man. What are you looking forward to in week 2?
Yeah, well, first, before I get there, I just got to, put the anchor down.
Of course.
Now that we've done that.
Of course.
Yeah, so every year we see week 1 overreactions, panics, whether it's a team, whether our players, like Cincinnati comes to mind. They looked, pedestrian last week. But we expected, Joe Burrow and his crew to just be running over everyone. So, and then typically we see in week 2, those teams or those players tend to get right. And so I'm expecting a lot of that today. A lot of the panic that we've gone through over the last week, we're going to see a lot of that self-corrected in week 2. I think we see it every year. So I'm looking forward to that, kind of getting back to normalizing everything we know about fantasy football. That kind of starts this week.
Nice. I like that. In week 2, I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone does in the Guillotine League. It'll be really fun to kind of check it out from the Goodyear blimp circling above the stadium of fantasy football and watching everyone else enjoy themselves in the Guillotine League. That'll be really fun. Also, in the spirit of good sportsmanship, I just want to congratulate Matt Stiles and his W. Fair and square win. His boys showed up last week and PPR won. Mine did not. That's okay. Definitely the worst week 1 for me in fantasy football career. No question about it last week. Thankfully, I'm a Duck fan. Otherwise, it could have been a bit rough. I'm going to go way off the radar in a game that nobody outside of Atlanta and Minnesota cares about. But I've got a lot of stake in the Falcons this year. I planted my flag like 2 months ago. Really stoked on the Falcons in general. Drake London, of course, goes from like broken collarbone to playing today, no problem. So we'll see how that goes. Huge play from Bijan last week. Nobody tells Styles, but the Bears should have beat the Vikings last week, and they dropped the ball majorly. So much like Dave, I want to see if the Vikings are for real and can come up against, I think, a better talent at home. And the Falcons, I really want to see if they can bounce back and get a little mustard here and get a win. So we're going to get to our pick'ems right now, but I'm going to go off the radar a little bit and be interested in seeing how that game goes. Lots of fantasy implication in that game with players, but the Falcons and Vikings is a game I'll be looking at today. All right. We got a lot of questions pouring in as usual. We appreciate y'all. Stick with us. We have Many of your questions, many of your comments are coming in also on our articles. So we appreciate you all. Again, you can check out all those articles. You can read them as you listen to the show right now at football.razzball.com to get a last minute couple of tidbits. So feel free to check that out. We're going to get to all your questions. We're going to go maybe like 3 games at a time, gentlemen, and then we'll get a couple of questions. We'll come back to the pick'ems, and we'll kind of knock them out so we can get the people rolling. Any final comments here before we get the morning going? No.
Is it okay for an admission?
Yeah, of course.
It's
a safe space, Matt.
One of the Razzball leagues, I dropped a player I didn't think was going to fare very well. And I have added as my quarterback to Justin Fields. Please discuss.
Hashtag sometimes Fields. Is that where we're at?
If necessary Fields, yes.
That's a long. Do you have enough characters for if necessary Fields?
Remember what I just said about week 1 overreactions?
Yep.
Well, there it is right there.
He's not starting because nobody starts over Baker. Not in this heart.
Get in line, Jen. All right. Let's get after it. We're ready to go. Gentlemen, we're going to do the first 3 games of the slate this morning. Give me your pick'ems. I just need a team name, and we're going to get rolling here. Styles, will start with you, and then we'll go around the horn as usual. Jeff, Dave, and Derek. We're going to start with Baltimore, coming off a shaky L, somehow losing to Josh Allen. This game is in Baltimore. Ravens are 11.5-point favorites going up against the Browns, who also should have beat the Bungles last week. Give me your winner here. Ravens at home. Styles, you're up first.
Ravens.
Jeff.
Ravens.
Davey.
Yep, Ravens.
Derek.
Yeah, Cleveland makes it a game for a while, but Baltimore surpasses.
I agree. I'm actually going to take Baltimore by way more than 11 points. I think they come out angry and create some turnovers. I'm going to go a 5-bar right off the bat for the Ravens there. Game number 2, Jacksonville Jaguars 1-0 playing the Cincinnati Bengals, also 1-0. Bengals 3.5-point home favorites. I think that's a little aggressive on the spread there. Jeff, what do you think? All right, Styles, you're up first.
Sorry, Jeff. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
That's okay. Go Jags.
Davey?
Yeah, I've decided it's better being interesting than being right. I'm going to go with the Jags as well.
Yeah, Bengals with a get-right game.
Oh, man. I Jags will cover the spread at 3.5, but I'm going to go Cincinnati to pull it out at home. All right, final one of the early block here. Then we'll move on to some of your questions. Again, feel free to drop in any of your start-sit questions with your league settings, please, and we will get through a chunk of them in just 1 minute. We have the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, a 5.5 home favorite. Seems a little lopsided IMO. Who we got, Styles?
Brandon Aubrey, 4 field goals. Dallas wins.
Solid.
Mm-hmm. Dallas.
Yeah, Giants look terrible. Andrew Thomas is probably going to be out again today. Give me Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas for me.
Dallas for the win, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lot closer than people are thinking are. Let me get a 5-bar. Bam. All right, we'll come back with Chicago and Detroit as we get going through the morning. Let's get some of these questions. Jeff, good morning. Pick one, full PPR, Ricky Pearsall, or Calvin Ridley. Styles.
Calvin Ridley, get right game. He's going to go 6.95-1 today.
Whoa. And that's better than Ricky P, huh?
I just think it's too easy on this panel to choose Ricky P, so I'll leave that to somebody else.
It's better to be interesting than right. That's what a philosopher said one time.
Yes.
Okay. Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ridley on this one. I know the Rams limited Nico Collins last week, but I think Cam Ward has legitimate NFL talent, and I think today he showcases that. So give me Ridley.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pearsall. I just don't think the Rams are going to let Cam Ward get any more comfortable than the Broncos did. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'll take Pearsall against the Saints.
Yeah, same for me. I'm going to go Pearsall as well. Yeah, we don't have Brock Purdy today, but we don't have a lot of other pass catchers either, and someone's got to catch that ball today against the Saints. So I think Pearsall will have a big game.
Yeah, me too. I'm biased, obviously, and I love Calvin Ridley too, but the Saints run defense historically has been pretty solid, and McCaffrey's McCaffrey while he's healthy. But on the quick passes, it's all Pearsall. Last week, I told a good friend of mine who trusts in me dearly to start Tetaroa McMillan over Ricky P. I felt great about that pregame, and then the games happened, and Ricky P went off the way that I thought he would, and Tet took a minute. So I'm going to go Ricky P this week, but I do think Calvin Ridley also is a startable option and has a good game too.
Well, on that note, Tet dropped a touchdown, so it could have been different.
I agree. I felt good about the suggestion, but the results turned away, unfortunately. All right. Let's get moving here. Jeff Marks, good morning. Thank you for coming back. Bill Dino's here. All right, Matt. I will refrain from let's football, gents. Not a start sit question, but it looks like Bill CM is a three-headed monster in the backfield. Do I sell Bill? Styles, we're going to go right to you here. Do I sell Bill and try to get a guy like Braden Allen or Trey Benson for my bench? So he's looking for the starter, right, for Washington with Austin Eckler. Done for his career, ? Or a high-level handcuff here. Styles, I'll go to you first.
For anybody that watched the Thursday night game, I believe that the Commanders came in with a game plan, and the first play of the game went to Austin Eckler. He was involved in the passing game. I think what happened is they said, this is the way we're going to beat Green Bay. They went in with that plan, and Bill was not going to be significantly involved in that game plan just based on whatever they had practiced during the week. So when it went south and Eckler got hurt, they didn't have packages for Bill in place, and he did not play often. He did not look great when he did, but this is a new world, right? There is no Austin Eckler. Chris Rodriguez is going to have to be activated most likely. Jeremy McNichols, by the way, he didn't do much of anything. I don't even recall him being on the field either. My gut says even though this kid's a 7th-round draft pick and probably in fantasy was a 7th or later round draft pick, he is going to be the lead back, whether he starts or not, for the Commanders. So I would hold Bill for now, at least for one more week. And if I had to, if Bill thinks he needs to make this deal, I would make the deal for Benson before I did for Braylon Allen.
Does anyone disagree without giving analysis all the way around? Does anyone disagree? You want to add something here?
No. Yeah, you got to wait it out.
I agree. We're going to hold on Bill. And now, of course, Bill Dino knows this, but for anybody, who's been working the week or whatever, Washington's already played this week. And also for anybody at home, I'm aware that my screen is delayed. Again, I'm on the road per usual. I'm just lucky to be here. Happy to be with the boys. So if it's too much for somebody, let me know, and I'll get out of here. Bill, good morning, and thank you for joining us. And shout out to the first Let's Football gents, huh? Jets fan, do I stack Aaron Rodgers and Jonnu Smith this week or drop Jonnu and pick up Michael Mayer? We got an update on Brock Bowers. I have Brock, and he's active. If I can play him, I'm not pivoting to Meyer. I just play Jonnu. So this comes down to Brock Bowers and whether you trust his health or not. I do not trust Pete Carroll because he's ultimately optimistic. But if we trust Brock Bowers, I think this is an early question.
The scary part is he's questionable. He's a Monday night game. Who else played? There's Cade Otton might be available, so you could hold Brock Bowers and maybe add Otton if you need to do that for Monday night. But I am not a fan of stacking anybody in an Arthur Smith offense. Aaron Rodgers was prime Aaron Rodgers unless you watch the game. And if you watch the game, you realize that he cannot He is immobile. He is half a step more mobile than Joe Flacco at this point. If given enough time, he can carve any defense up, and he did with guys like Calvin Austin. But Freiermuth is still in Pittsburgh, and Jonnu is a good football player. I don't trust Arthur Smith. Never have, never will. So I don't think that's what I would consider a viable stack. I think it's an overreaction stack to Brock Bowers. And if you have Otten and Meyer available and you don't have to drop a starter Monday night, I would just hit the pause button and not I would have Bowers in at tight end for now. And I would sit the other two, and I would be fully okay with being wrong if Rodgers and Jonnu put up Favre and Chimera stats today.
Mark Chimera dropped. Nice.
Anybody want to jump in the hot tub? Too soon?
Too soon. This is a kid's show, Matt.
Sorry.
Jeff?
Yeah, no, I agree definitely with what Matt is saying. Can't overreact. I don't really trust Jonnu still at this time, so I think wait it out. Pivot to Meyer. If Brock doesn't play, or look if K-Dot. I know K-Dot's available in a lot of places, so he's not a bad start as well if you're that worried.
I fielded this question on one of my articles, and I think he got the idea from me. I'm going to say, if you're nervous about Bowers, play Smith. I'm not picking up Meyer. I just don't think he's going to be. He's not a substitute for Bowers. I like what I'm hearing about Bowers. I think he will play Monday night. I'm probably going to wait on him. If you want to wait on him, you can drop Jonnu and pick up Meyer. I do like the stack. I'm not as down on it as the other guys are, but I'm gonna stick with Bowers. And if not, then if I'm nervous about Bowers, I would pick up Meyer and drop Smith. I know you just traded for him, so.
Yeah, for me, it goes back to what Sky said at the beginning. I don't trust Pete Carroll to tell us the truth about Brock Bowers. So for me, if Bowers plays, he's in. If he's not playing, I want Meyer. So I'm not – I mean, Jonnu Smith, he had a good game. He was one of the overreacts, I think, in my opinion, this week. Everyone was rushing to the waiver wire to get him. And I think he's fine, but the situation with them playing late Monday night, they've got a game plan already, the Raiders do. And if Bowers is not going to play, then that share or a majority of it should go right to Myers. And he's been capable in the past. So I'm okay running with Meyer if Brock doesn't play, but I need to have both of them just to be sure I get that, get the one starter there for the Raiders.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna hold tight. I think I'm just gonna hold tight. I'm gonna go with Brock. I think Brock plays straight up. I don't trust Pete Carroll, but I just trust what I think. I'm gonna go with Brock Bowers.
And let me add a little little side piece, right? We all have our own side pieces we like to discuss.
Hey, no.
Every couple of weeks in the NFL, there's a tight end week. Go look at your box scores and look at Zach Ertz. Go look at your box scores and look at Tucker Kraft. This might be one of those tight end weeks. So I would say in this scenario, if there's a young man named Brenton Strange on your waiver wire right now, I would not trust Pete Carroll. I would pick up Brenton Strange and I would start him for the security of having a starting tight end over Jonnu Smith this week. Brenton Strange is going to be a top 5 tight end this week. Lock it in.
I like it. Huge waiver wire ad, obviously. But, I mean, David Njoku might have been dropped with all the hype for Harold Fannin also. And if Njoku was free out there, I'd scoop him and start him as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Either way, I don't want to start Jonnu Smith. That's where I'm at. All right, follow up here from Jets fan, different league. Pick 2, Keenan Allen, Juwan Jennings, DK Metcalf, Cortland Sutton, and Garrett Wilson. And we're going to assume this is half PPR because that's what we do, Jets fan. But I believe you're a full PPR-er, so let's do that. Full PPR, pick 2.
This one's really easy for me. Lad McConkey's going to be back to being wide receiver 1. DK's going to do what he does, a couple of catches, some decent yards. He's going to look like a Greek god. Juwan is questionable. No Brock Purdy. For me, it's Sutton and Garrett Wilson, and I am trending towards being wrong about Garrett Wilson this year. So give me Garrett Wilson and Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Bo and the Broncos bounce back. I think Sutton continues his ways, gets another tutty today, and then you got to go with the hot hand with Wilson and Fields. Those two are the offense, and I think Wilson gets peppered with targets again.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Sutton and Wilson as well. I do like Keenan Allen. I just don't like him as much as those two other guys. And DK Metcalf, I don't know. Every year it's like this guy's hype, and just he's endlessly disappointing to me. And Jennings is got a bad shoulder, so I'm staying away from him.
Give me the DK revenge game, although I don't believe in Aaron Rodgers putting it 2 weeks in a row. However, he's a pro. He knows how to feed his guys, and DK against the Seattle defense, I could even see 2 touchdowns there, or at least the attempts. He'll get the targets. So give me DK and give me Cortland Sutton.
Nice. I don't mind the DK play. I'm worried about Juwan, and I have to pick the Niners. Just that's what I do. But I'm really nervous that they're going to blow this game against the Saints today. I like Keenan Allen. I just want to see one more game of him fully involved before I start him. But, man, it was like he never left. That was awesome. He looked great. Justin Herbert loves him. But I'm going to stick with Cortland Sutton and Garrett Wilson. Both had monster games last week. I think that continues this week in good matchups. Bob, good morning. Bob's got a couple questions here too. I don't know if we can rattle through those. They're kind of scattered throughout, but we'll get to them. I'll go to Styles here. This is a no-brainer, but as our resident Packers owner, Kraft is the number 1 target in Green Bay, correct?
There's no doubt for me. And I targeted him everywhere I could in drafts this year. I didn't get him everywhere I needed to, but it was sure nice to start guillotine week with 24.4 points on the board. Yeah. By the way, my second super flex in that league is a young man that plays with Sunshine. His name's Brenton Strange. So can you move on in guillotine with 2 tight ends in your super flex positions? We shall see.
Absolutely. Can you move on with the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL? No.
Well, we'll ask Dave Cruz after this week. I'm pretty sure.
And a baby. I saw that. I like to see it. Maybe a bounce back for Joey B and the boys. Speaking of moving on, Troy, we were curious about Travis Kelce. And is that a Stephon Diggs text? He's still in the league? How do we feel about Kelce and Diggs? Let's go half PPR because that's what we do if you don't tell us.
Yeah, I'm going to assume no tight end premium. We have to assume the half point. This is interesting. I think Philly's going to really shut down the Chiefs today. Week 1, again, we're not overreacting. Derek has said it at least twice so far. We should not overreact. But what I saw from the Chiefs is the inability to run the football at all. They do not appear to have a running game. Kareem Hunt looked better than Isaiah Pacheco, but they've got a speedster on the bench and a young rookie that Jeff wrote about in the offseason. We shall see. It probably won't be week 2. But they should be trailing, right? Kansas City defense is all right, but they're milquetoast. They're boring good. They're not flashy good. I just think Philly is too good, too strong up front. Jalen Hurts, if it's man coverage, they're going to turn their back, and Hurts is just going to run down the field and pick up first down after first down. By the way, not that we condone betting on this show, but you should probably lean on Jalen Hurts anytime rushing touchdown. Diggs is a week older than he was last week when we said he's a year older. But I like I like the Patriots this week against Miami. I think I'm going to lean slightly Diggs, but I don't mind Kelsey in a game that he could be hyper-focused. Or Philly could just say, we're going to put Cooper DeJean on him and not let him catch anything. So I will go, I lean slightly towards Diggs. I would look for a third option on the team, even though those are two really nice fantasy names throughout history. I would maybe lean to a Cedric Tillman in a game today if you had somebody like Cedric Tillman on the bench.
Yeah, for me, I don't feel comfortable about Kelsey this week. Philly last year allowed the second fewest points to tight ends. And I think this is the week I think Rashard Smith will get involved in the passing game. The Chiefs are better when they utilize their running backs out of the backfield. So I think we see him in a play with Worthy not playing. And then I do like Diggs and a bounce back. I know Miami, they're a hot mess. And Michael Pittman had a really nice game last week. So I can see Diggs scoring his first touchdown with the Pats.
Yeah, I've already said I think the Eagles are going to try to control the line of scrimmage. If Jalen Carter gets booted again for spitting on somebody, he just right to therapy with the guy. He needs help. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to run. I don't think the Eagles are scared of Hollywood Brown or Tyquan Thornton or Juju at this point. I think it's going to be, they're going to try to control the line, and they're going to focus on Kelsey. And Diggs had 7 targets last week, so I'm fine playing Diggs in this situation.
I'm leading Kelsey actually in this matchup. Is really just a process of elimination in KC. There's going to be some games where Kelsey steps up, and he's they're obviously well familiar with each other. The Philly defense knows how to play Kelsey, but despite that, he just shows up some games, and this is going to be, if they're going to prevent going 0-2. It's going to have to be Kelsey. He's going to have to play a big part of that. So just out of sheer necessity, I'm going to, for the Kansas City anyway, I'm going to go Kelsey.
Boy. I feel like Kelsey they wrote a game plan for Worthy, and he got hurt immediately, and then Kelsey became a thing. He scores whatever. He might even get a touchdown, but I think his big games and high reception totals are behind him. Diggs is really risky. I don't trust him either, but in the matchups and everything else, I think it's a bounce back for Drake May and co. So I'm going to go Diggs, but honestly, I actually agree with Styles. Great fantasy names, cool dudes to see on your roster. I think there are some streamable options potentially that have higher upside than both of these guys.
Is this a Calvin Austin text?
Yeah. I mean, it's sure. I think it could be a number of guys text. I'm just a little bit nervous about that. Bayshall Tootin text. Who knows? All right, gentlemen, we're going to do one more question. We're going to go back to 3 more pick'ems here, but we got to get to our boy. This is William Jones. Who's this?
Who?
William Jones. Absolutely. We need a wide receiver here and a flex. We got Sutton, Pearsall, Pittman, and Quinton. And one second. I mean, it's obviously a Bronco. And look at the Golden Gate Bridge, by the way. You got to really squint. But the swapping in the Golden Gate Bridge for the pair, vice versa. I mean, Billiam is really just on the top of his game right now. Now the sneeze, Pittman, Colts, bad. I was wrong. Anybody got the sneeze, the handkerchief?
No.
Kleenex. Quentin Johnson is the spark plug. I love that. The Chargers, solid. I think the napkin is throwing me off a little bit, Billiam, but we'll get there. Styles, who you got? We need a wide receiver and a flex. So pick two.
What did Derek say? And now I've said it twice for Derek. We're not overreacting. So Quentin's probably, even though you overpaid for him, on your waiver wire. I'm not starting Quentin Johnson yet. Same with Keenan Allen, right? Let me see it again, and then maybe you have my attention. But anybody know who the number one cornerback for the Broncos is that Michael Pittman will see today? I think it's Patrick Surtain. So I love Pittman in week 1, but I'm going to probably stay away from that. So give me Sutton, and by the way, it's going to be Sutton all day for me, regardless, as a wide receiver 1, and then I will take Ricky P as well. And I don't know what that. Hopefully, Billiam is still on the line where he can give us a hint into that. He's blowing the nose. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still the sneezing. I'm trying to understand that one, but for me, definitely Sutton.
He got breaking news. Breaking news, Jeff. I'm just going to cut you off right now. Billiam, you're a Razzball commenter, Hall of Famer. Much respect to you, always, my man. High regard here with the community. Cold equals Colts. A little bit of a stretch. I'm not going to lie. It's a little far there. We're going to allow it because you're a gamer, but it's a little much. Yeah, it's. I don't.
He already used the horse for the Broncos.
I think which is that's fine. I understand. I don't mind a double up personally, but that's just me. Okay, go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Definitely going Sutton for the first pick. He led the team in targets last week with 9. The second, can y'all guess who was second in targets in Denver last week?
R.J. Harvey.
Not Evan Ingram. Well, at least for receivers, it was Troy Franklin. Interesting. So I still think Sutton is the top guy there. He'll get a lot of targets. If you read my slot versus wide article this week, I'm actually sitting Pittman and Pearsall. So being a company man, I got to stay consistent. I got to stay with sitting those two fellers, and I'm going to ride the hot hand with Quentin Johnston. He had great things coming out of camp. I know Keenan Allen's still there and Ladd, but I think Quentin is their big play guy on the outside. And I think Justin Herbert continues to throw it downfield, and the beneficiary is going to be Quentin Johnston.
That was 2 ducks, 1 answer. 2 ducks, 1 answer. Don't Google that. Don't Google 2 ducks, 1 answer. Don't Google it.
Yeah, I can't go with Pittman. I watched the game last week in Indianapolis, and I just don't see Daniel Jones having as much time all year as he had in that game. I don't know what the Dolphins were doing out there. If you give Daniel Jones that much time, he will look good. But I think their teams are going to start coming off. I don't think he's going to look that comfortable against the Broncos. Love Quentin Johnston. I just can't go with him over Sutton or Pearsall. So I'm going to take Sutton and Pearsall here.
Yeah, same for me. Sutton and Pearsall for many of the reasons that have already been explained. I'm just not I'm not quite there yet with Quentin. I hope he does reach his potential, but one game is not going to do it for me. So I want more of a sure thing. Give me Sutton and Pearsall.
Sutton and Pearsall as well. All right, gentlemen, let's get to a couple more picks quick. And we're going to get into it real fast. I just need a team name, and we'll keep moving on here. We got the Chicago Bears somehow blowing the game against the Vikings, 0-1. At Detroit, also not showing up last week. Both teams need a win. Detroit basically a touchdown home favorite. Who we got, Styles?
Really?
Bears. Jeff?
I'm going to go with Ben Johnson and the Bears this week.
Ooh. Ayo. Dave?
Yeah, I'm not that interesting. I'm going to take the Lions.
Lions at home for me. Lions at home.
Same. New England 0-1, Miami 0-1. This game's in Miami in the humidity. 1.5 home favorites for Miami. Styles?
Drake May, Trevion Henderson, Stephon Diggs, and the Patriots. And by the way, it's not that humid here right now. I know I live 4 hours away from Miami. It's not that bad here right now. But there were some storms last night for the Miami USF game, so be on the lookout for Lightning Gate Week 2 down in South Florida.
Kezar.
I'm going to go with New England.
Davey?
Yeah, I hear the desperation time card played a lot, and if anybody is in desperation time, it's the Dolphins. I think if they lose this game and look bad again, I think Mike McDaniel might not make it to October. We'll see if the players only meeting helped last week, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins at home.
Yeah, similar for me. I would really like to see New England take that step up, but sometimes when you get those teams that are just an absolute dumpster fire and just so underperforming, they put it all together one week, and this is their home opener. So give me Miami with an upset. Although they are favored, I guess, but 1.5 at home, I still feels like an upset to me. So give me Miami.
It's an eye test upset, Derek. I'm with you. This is a vibes game. I think Drake May, Trevion, the boys, Austin Hooper, everybody in New England has a good game. Mike Vrabel probably figures this one out and beats them. But I think this is one of those NFL surprise games. Tua might look decent, and Tyreek might have a nice game as well. So I'm going to go Miami against my better judgment. All right, and last one here before we get back to your questions. We got San Francisco accidentally winning their game last week, and we have the Saints with Spencer Rattler. The 49ers, without anybody on their roster, have a 3.5 road line.
Yeah, I guess the Niners. Call me drunk, but yeah, give me the Niners.
Yeah, I think New Orleans defense is actually legit. They stayed in that game with the Cards, and I'm going to roll with the Saints at home.
2 words. Sorry, Sky.
Derek?
The Saints will have the number 1 pick in the draft, but they're not going to go 0-17. This is going to be one of their few wins.
Yeah, I absolutely hate it. I'm banking on coaching, veteran leadership somehow, and just a straight up overall better roster somehow making this happen in the Big Easy, but I'm really nervous about it. I would definitely take the Saints on the line, 3.5. But with Jake Moody leaving town, there's a burst for the Niners, so I think they're going to get that W.
And let me throw this out, right? And Dave gave 2 words. I had 2 words. I'll give you 2 words and then ... and some more. Mac Jones.
Who?
Exactly. And what did he do for Brian Thomas Jr.?
He lit him up.
Is it possible that Mac Jones
is better than Brock Purdy? No, but can he have a nice game? Sure.
Was fishing for another who. We do that
no matter
what.
Who?
Is it possible Mac Jones?
Who?
8004. Is it possible that he can give Ricky Pearsall one of those games this week?
Absolutely.
I think he can. But if the NFL really wants things to go down the way Derek said, which they probably do, they don't want a team with no wins. They want the Saints to get Arch Manning. But the flip of the script is Arch is not coming out after the season, so he's not going to New Orleans.
Oh, God. Yeah. Go Niners. All right, let's move on here. Jets fan, non-football related, but, solid question. Let's answer it real quick. We'll get back to it here. If anybody else has any questions that aren't already logged in, please make sure to do that right here in the channel. And we got just over an hour until kickoff, gentlemen. Jets fan wants to know, why all the baseball hats? Well, we're all baseball fans. And we choose to do the football side of this thing. Of course, Razzball's flagship is baseball. For anybody that isn't familiar for some reason, which is totally fine, Razzball does this on the baseball side. So those of you that are baseball nerds like the rest of us are, we're getting into postseason talk, wild card chases. Some team in the National League is absolutely on fire right now after being the worst team in baseball for 2 months. So we're excited about that. We're all baseball fans. So today we went with I chose a baseball hat on accident. Davey Cruz, of course. Shouts out to our boy Casey Schmidt. And we like Tampa Bay for our locals as well. So we all love baseball outside of football as well. So we just pick a ball cap. Matt gets extremely jealous when my Italian lettuce is flowing, so I contractually have to wear a hat. And today I chose the Wahoos. So shout out my boy Pedro Serrano and the boys.
Yeah, and I I'm of the group. I'm usually bad cop, right?
Sure.
So I would say to Jets fans, well, with all due respect, maybe mind your own business. So there you go.
Hey, and speaking
Showing
of baseball,
love to our customers.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of baseball,
oh, give it to him. Give it to him, Bob.
Yeah.
Derek, do you have a comment or two about that? Go ahead.
Yeah, last day of Razz Slam, and we've got some familiar names towards the top of the list, so it'll be exciting to see how that finishes up.
Does the champ have an opportunity to win the whole thing still?
Well, I will pull it up.
He's on top last time I looked.
Yeah, I'll pull it up while you guys talk.
Wow.
I love it.
I'm sure he'll get in. I'm sure he'll get in here and tell us first, but
yeah, I love it. And Razzball underway too here. Again, that's that's going to be best ball for the first 10 weeks of the year. So we're kind of just sitting pat with that. But picked up Jawan Johnson and Fannin as well in those leagues. Go ahead, Derek.
Quick update. Goldman is in the number 1 slot, and he's got about a
27-point lead.
27-point lead. Yep, 27-point lead.
Attaboy, Bob. Take it down. Take it down for us, Bob.
Go, Bob.
In one of our other friendly folks in our league, Sean, I'll just go with his first name. He's not too far behind. He's only 29 points out. So, yeah. Two of the top 3 are good friends of the football.
And
show.
I want to give a shout out while we're talking. I love it. While we're talking, follower support. Shout out to everybody in the Guillotine League and also the PPR leagues. A lot of fun in week 1. I know I'm just bitter because the Bengals didn't show up. I went Bengals stack. It blew up in my face. But good news is I feel a lot better because it was my entire team that was shitty, not just the Bengals. So I feel better about it. But everybody alive in Guillotine for week 2, congratulations. And all the PPR participants as well. Like it's so much fun to have those chats and league chats and stuff. So appreciate y'all being involved. And of course, all the Razzballers.
I could tell you, you're not alone. So I'm in 2 other Guillotine leagues besides ours. In both of those leagues, I was able to pick up Joe Burrow in free agency. So.
Oh, in free agency. Okay, well, congratulations moving forward to you and Cruz. All right, like lightning. Shout out to Chargers. Half PPR, Kenneth Walker, J.K. Dobbins. Great half PPR backs. Matt?
I'm a little bit frightened by the Seattle backfield right now. Charbonnet with the touchdown. Walker is healthy. I know they want to run the ball, right? That's what the coaching staff wants to do. I was hoping for R.J. Harvey to be a thing in week 1. He was, but not necessarily because he had volume. This one is rough for me. I think I'm going based on the matchup. The Broncos have the Colts, who just showed out, but they showed out against a missing team in Miami. Walker's going up against, I think, a more significant front 7 in Pittsburgh. So give me Dobbins ever so slightly ahead of Kenneth Walker, which nobody would have said going into the draft season. So give me Dobbins ever so slightly above Walker.
Yeah, shout out to Dave. Yeah, he was on Charbonnet, and I think he continues to split the carries in Seattle. That's going to be probably 50-50 all year. I like Dobbins better matchup. Unfortunately, R.J. Harvey was not involved in the passing game. Someone named Tyler Batty got 6 targets from Bo Nix. So you don't like that if you're an R.J. Harvey owner. You figure he'd be more involved in the passing game and only got 6 rushing attempts. He did have a nice rush, but I think it's J.K. Dobbins' backfield right now early in the season.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of these guys. Charbonnet was on the high end of the split last week, and he got used more in blocking situations. I think he's the 1A in that backfield right now. And as far as R.J. Harvey goes, I think he's going to be a fine player. I just think he's still cooking. So I think Dobbins is going to see most of the snaps for the next few weeks at least. So I'm going to go with Dobbins here as well.
Yeah, we saw a 2-to-1 ratio for Dobbins, and it's actually 3-2 for Charbonnet for Seattle. But the one thing I did note between Charbonnet and Walker was Charbonnet had 0 targets. Walker had 3. Still not a lot, but it is noticeable that Charbonnet had 0, and it kind of maybe lends to what Jeff was saying. He was in on more of the blocking downs as well. So that being said, I trust Dobbins a little more right now than what's going on in Seattle. So I will go Dobbins in this case as well.
Dobbins too. Love me some Harvey. And the Broncos, I think, bounce back in a big way. I've been Charbonnet all summer as well. I'm out on Ken Walker in general. Cosmo, good morning. Shout out to the pup always. Half PPR, need one and a flex. Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, Ken Walker, and DK Dobbins. Wow, we've talked about all 4 guys.
Yeah, literally the next question in order is basically a mashup of 2 questions, the one we just had and one we had earlier. Normally, my brand is wide receiver over anything else, but I think I'm going to stick with my Dobbins selection because it's half-point PPR. And good morning to our solo astrophysicist follower.
Facts.
For real. Facts. Same thing. I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins and a half PPR.
Yeah, I'm going with Dobbins. If Keenan Allen shows me that he's really wound the clock back again this week, I would probably be more comfortable starting him here. But I'm going with Dobbins. I'm just not real. I know DK Metcalf has the quote-unquote revenge game, but I just don't see it this week against Seattle.
Yeah, full PPR, I might consider DK, but half PPR, I'm going Dobbins.
Oh, man. I just feel like Rodgers is sprung up enough on shit like this to where he could just pepper DK, like, to stick it to him. Like, he does that kind of shit. I would not be surprised if DK has a massive game, but I'm not counting on it at all. So I'm going to stick with what Dave said. I'm going to go J.K. Dobbins. But keep an eye on Keenan Allen, man. Another one of those weeks, and I'm all in. I've loved him for years. Billiam Jones. Who? Every single time. Should I trust Knicks or stream? We're in the trust Knicks or stream already, week 2, Billiam. Come on now, man. Come on. Streaming options are pretty light. Geno, Stafford, Flacco, and Tua. Would you drop Knicks for any of those guys?
Right now, you trust Knicks, right? Kind of a cold week for a lot of players. Derek has now said it twice, and I've said it 3 times for Derek. Week 1 was week 1. Don't overreact. However, if you've got bubble guts over starting Knicks this week, just know that your resident expert, that's me, is starting Joe Flacco a second week in a row over Tua Tagovailoa in a super flex. So give me Flacco with 45 attempts. If you can suck it up on 2 interceptions and take 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, then by the way, Cedric Tillman, wide receiver 1 this week. So don't tell your friends, just pick them up. I would play Knicks. I'm fine with that. But if you've got the guts, Flacco, I think, is in another great spot. Baltimore is the second worst team against passing quarterbacks because they're going to score a ton of points, and Flacco's going to have to throw a ton of football. So if you want to get crazy like we did in week 1, go Flacco. If you want a steady, younger guy with the legs, go with Knicks. I'm probably starting Knicks if I have that option, but my option is Flacco or Tua, and I'm going Flacco.
Yeah, don't fret on Bo Nix quite yet. Yeah, he had 3 turnovers, but I think he rights the ship in this week. The Colts weren't really that good against quarterbacks last season. They allowed the 12th most points. Yeah, they held Tua. I just don't think Miami's that good. I said early on this year, I'm out on the Dolphins this season. This is part of the reason. You gotta trust Knicks in this one and keep rolling with them for a bounce back game.
Yeah, I want to say Flacco. I'm just concerned he might have 3 touchdowns to the other team. I'm gonna stick with Knicks one more week here. If he looks as bad as he did in week 1, then it's time to get real nervous. But I got to stick with him this week. I just don't think the Colts are as good as they looked. I think they could win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot harder of a climb for him. If Knicks fails here, it's time to cut bait on him.
Yeah, I don't hate Stafford either in this case. Tennessee's not a pushover, but and if this was in LA, then I might feel a little stronger that way. But I don't hate Stafford this week, especially with Puka looking as good as he is to start. But I'm sticking with Knicks. Yeah, it's week 2. You drafted him for a reason. It's not time to panic yet and go a different way.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm biased. I totally agree with Matt. I think Flacco could have a really nice game. The rest of the guys I'm not interested in this week. My issue more so is if I drop Knicks, I don't think I can get him back. That's what I'm about. Because we're not going to have Flacco in 2 or 3 weeks. 4 or 5, whatever, for various reasons, I think. So if I drop Knicks, I just don't see him getting back to my team. I don't want to risk that. I'm sticking it out at least one more week. Bob, starting Hollywood instead of Worthy this week against you, Jeff. Is that just like information? Is that a little smack talk? Is that, Jeff, quick response?
It's a good start. What can I say?
No, Jeff, here's the deal, Jeff. This is your show. It's not Bob's show.
Yeah. I mean, you tell Bob what's going on. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good guy.
If you really wanted to be a friend of the show, Bob, you'd start Worthy.
And he's gonna be watching baseball today too. Come on, let's be real.
Yeah. Big day on the diamond for Bob. I agree. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you could just say "Fly Eagles Fly." I mean,
Oh no, I can't say that.
Okay.
Bob is new money. He made that clear, right? It's new money, which means he's got screens on top of screens all over the house. He probably has somebody that operates the remote for him, right? He just sits back in the smart chair and just gets his massages, and people are bringing him drinks and food and changing the channel for him. So yeah, new money, Bob. I just don't think he should be coming at Jeff that way. It's just I'll stand up for Jeff. That's what I do.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, his good friends call him NMB, new money, Bob. Started Worthy last week. My condolences there. You weren't alone, certainly. So sorry to hear that. Didn't you guys feel quite a few teams week 1 is a preseason? Absolutely. That's why we've been saying all morning. Matt has said it 11 times. Derek said it 14 times. It's week 2. Let's see these guys actually show up. And I think we're going to have a much better football in general this week. Lightning is back. And, guys, I'm sorry for the delay here just because my computer's weird and I'm running a lot of things hosting the show. I just realized it's my boy Harbaugh there. I thought this was like money. And I realized it's my boy Jimbo, who obviously it's his burner. Jim, good morning. Good friend of the show. Shout out to your boy John. Huge game against Cleveland today. But I just realized it's my boy Jim. Nice. With the headset. Full PPR. We need one here with the running back. We got Dobbins, a.k.a. Dobbins, Tracy, and Ken Walker. Lots of Ken Walker. We're nervous. Matt, how we feeling?
More than that's a lot of Dobbins versus Ken Walker. So I'm going to stay with Dobbins.
Yep.
Dobbins for me.
Yeah, I'd love to pick Tracy. I just think the Giants are going to get trucked in Dallas. Dobbins for me, too.
Yeah, same for me. Limited to just 10 rushing attempts and 2 receptions last week was Tracy. And, Dallas may provide a more opportunity, but I still like Dobbins more.
Yeah, and Bob's popping in here, Jeff. He's trying to make it his show, obviously, but he does bring up a good point. With Andrew Thomas out again, I mean, the Giants are hurting anyway. They have a fun defensive line, but no offensive line. I'm really nervous about that. I'm going to stick with Dobbins also. This is Billiam Jones.
Who?
Billiam Jones. Stream a defense or roll with the Bills D for a rebound today. It's not even a rebound, man. They played arguably the best offense outside of themselves last week, so you can't expect much from those defenses. But Bills defense getting run over by the Ravens, obviously. Streaming options are the Colts, the Titans, the Cowboys, and the Patriots. And I think that's fencing. Is that correct? But I think it's like an old school, like Bayonet Patriot maybe situation, but I think that's fencing if I'm looking correctly. Okay, Matt, go ahead.
If you're going to move away from the Bills, I'll take the Patriots against Tua, who's an interception machine.
Well, I agree with that one. I do like Buffalo here, but if you're wanting to move off of them, I think the Patriots are a good one. And the second one, I think the Cowboys will actually be an interesting play today as well defensively.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Bills, but if I was going to move off, it would be the Cowboys as well. I just think I think the Giants are just a train wreck.
Fun fact, of the 219 rushing yards given up by the Bills last week, 62% of those came against design zone rushes, whereas the Jets, 75% of their 171 rushing yards came off of zone blocking. So this is a Jets' strength versus a Bills' weakness, apparently, after week 1. So it'll be interesting to see if the Bills can shore that up a little bit against two running backs who could theoretically take advantage of that. That being said, I'm still going to roll with the Bills D amongst these other choices. I don't think they're as bad as what we saw last week with Lamar and company.
That's some really, really impressive offense and defensive line statistics there, Derek. Where did you get all that information?
Well, as would you have it, we debuted two new tools actually on the Razzball Suite, free for all our loyal fans. We have, as all of our longtime listeners know, we have the defensive and player zone or slot versus wide tool. Well, now we have the same tool for running backs and then defensive stop and the run. So what we call it is our rush, zone, and gap tool. You will find it. I'll post it here in the chat. I've got an article on it explaining the whole concept, what it does and how you use it. I'm pretty excited about it. And again, what it does is it looks at design rushing attempts individually and by team, and then the defense's ability against those two design running attempts, or running schemes. So pretty interesting results so far, and we'll see. As we move forward, as the numbers tend to normalize like they do. We'll use it the same way as we do with wide receivers. Look for those opportunities where we can plug in either defenses or, more importantly, running backs against those defenses that give us a slight advantage.
I love it, Derek, and shout out to you and the rest of the squad for generating that tool and putting up something new. And I don't see a lot of offensive line statistics. And folks, we're silly and we do a lot of fun stuff on the Sunday Live, especially we get loose, and you guys know our vibe at this point. But the articles and the information that our squad handles, all these guys behind the scenes to get you the information, is really top notch. So I strongly encourage you to check out all of our articles at football.razzball.com. Derek's new article there, but we also again have slot wide for receivers, offensive line statistics, home and away splits, streamer opportunities and stuff. So go check out all of our articles. All right, boys, let's get into some more pick'ems here really quick. I'm going to go with Dallas this week. Actually, I do think that sometimes Fields might have another decent game. This game is in New Jersey. I think the Bills win the game, but it could be interesting for the Jets. New energy up there. So I'm going to go with Dallas today for that defensive option. But again, if you're worried about dropping the Bills defense and not getting them back, just hold on to them again. The difference in DST points is not significant usually, so hang out. All right, couple more pick'ems here, and we'll get going. We'll go to that Buffalo game. Buffalo on the road in New Jersey, 1-0 Bills, 0-1 Jets. Buffalo touchdown favorite. Who we got?
Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, I don't think Buffalo's going to need to pull it out at the end this week. I think it's going to be a pretty serious beatdown. Give me Buffalo.
Let's keep it light, Dave. Go ahead, Derek.
Bills for me.
All right, I'm going to go Buffalo as well. That's a 5-bar. Seattle 0-1. Pittsburgh 1-0. Pittsburgh a home favorite, 3.5 points. Who we got?
Pittsburgh.
I'm taking the Seahawks.
Long trip for the boys.
Now, Pittsburgh for me.
Also an early game. It's a 7 a.m. game for the Seahawks on the local time there. I'm going to go always Rodgers. I'll go Pittsburgh as well. Final one here. We'll get back to your questions. We got the Rams 1-0 on the road in Tennessee 0-1. Got beat up by the Broncos last week. The Rams 5.5-point favorite against Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley. Who we got?
Give me the Rams, but I would take the Titans with the spread.
I agree with Matt. Let's go with the Rams.
Yeah, Rams for me. I think Cam Ward's going to be good. I don't think the rest of the team is going to be too good.
Make it 4.
Yeah, we'll go 5-bar here. I agree with Styles, though. I'm going to go Rams to win the game. I think they're better. They're better coach. They're better overall roster. But I think Tennessee has a nice game. And again, another West Coast team going east. So we'll see how that bounces back. All right, boys. I got about another 15, 20 minutes personally, and I'll have to dip per usual. But let's get into the second half of the questions, and we'll get into some more start sits before I go. Epic fail. Good morning and welcome back. Sup, y'all? PPR Coleman versus the Jets, Diggs versus Miami, also PPR, Sutton versus Indy, and Hampton versus the Raiders. And Epic fail. We love you so much for throwing the matchups right on the screen so we don't have to dig deep. We appreciate you, brother. 2 questions here, both PPR. Styles?
I'm not chasing Coleman week 1, and they should not be trailing by 15 in the fourth quarter. So give me Diggs in Miami, which I think Mike Vrabel may run up the score today just because he's from the Belichick tree, and that's what they like to do. And as much as I like Hampton, I'm going to go Sutton all day, regardless where Hampton's playing or who he's playing. So I'm going to go Diggs and Sutton.
Thanks for joining us, Epic. This will be my last question for this morning. I got to dip myself, but I agree with Maddie. I'm going to go with Diggs in this one and then Sutton as well.
Yeah, I think even if Buffalo winds up in a volume situation, I think Coleman's probably going to see a fair amount of Sauce Gardner today. I'm going to go with Diggs for the first one, and I would love to go Hampton, but I'm going to go Sutton here as well. I think Harris is going to start seeing a few more carries, and I think Hampton's going to be fine, but I'm going to go Sutton today against Indianapolis.
Yeah, well, I don't expect that Coleman would get 11 targets like he did last week. I think 6 or 7 for sure is doable. And what actually caught my eye, he had 2 red zone targets inside the 20, which it's nice to see this year for him. So I think we might be seeing a little bit of a breakout here, and I'm willing to roll the dice on it. So I'll take Coleman. And then I'm going to stick with Sutton as well. I do like Hampton. I'd like to see him, kind of wrestle that job and get the majority of carries, but really need to see that first. So give me, and it's a PPR, so give me Sutton there for the second one.
I'll take Diggs and Sutton. Jeff, you got to go. Before you do, stat line for Trevor Lawrence today.
We're going to go 300. 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. That's okay, though.
And how about your boy Travis Etienne, the best running back in fantasy football?
Oh, Etienne, we'll say 18 carries. We'll go 85 yards, and then 3 grabs for 22 and a tutty.
Those are really solid. Really
what
solid.
About your
Jeff,
rookie?
You have a great.
What about your rookie? You got to tell us what your rookie's going to do.
Travis? Yes. I think he'll have a big PPR day. I think he'll have 8 catches, but for like 70 to 80 yards, but he'll get his first touchdown of the season. I think BTJ gets lots of yardage, no touchdown, though, unfortunately. Man, Brenton Strange catches the other touchdown.
Obviously.
So that's a 3 from Trevor right there.
Man, so that's like 6 touchdowns from Jacksonville. Fire up your Jags, everybody. Jeff, shouts out to the family, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Appreciate y'all too.
Epic Fails back with another one. PPR, Ridley against the Rams, Pickens versus the Giants, Adunze versus the Lions.
A good problem to have, a rough one to pick, which is why it's typed in here. I like Ridley. I'm not sure I like Cam Ward against that Rams front, but I do love Ridley. Oh boy. I think Pickens going into this, if I wouldn't have thought about the matchups, et cetera, I would have just said, I want Pickens this week, because Pickens is going to go over 50 easy in the first half. That's my call. I don't love Adunze against the defensive backs for the Lions. So just out of default, because I picked him twice already, give me Ridley, but I don't have a significant rationale behind it. I just feel my gut for Ridley is that he's going to have a good game this week. If you don't feel that way, I would lean Pickens, and then Adunze would be third.
Yeah, I like all of these guys. The problem for me is that Ridley and Adunze both probably are going to have pretty tough matchups, and Pickens has both the best quarterback and the best matchup. So I'm going to go with Pickens this week.
So I didn't get my In the Trenches article up this week for other reasons, but when you look at the offensive defensive line matchup, Dallas has the worst matchup against the New York Giants front 7 for pass protection. They also signed what they call the best offensive lineman in the league to the largest contract for interior linemen. So that'll be an interesting matchup. If Dallas can give Dak some time, I like Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, but I like Pickens as well in that matchup. If you're worried about the Giants line, and there's no, you wouldn't be bad to say that you're not. That's the best part of their team. I think I would divert to Ridley. So I would lean Pickens, but I don't mind diverting to Ridley either. If you just don't think Dak's going to have a lot of time.
Give me Ridley. I was all in all summer, all in week 1, got burned, all in week 2. Let's make it happen. Bob's got a couple more. All right, gentlemen, I've got 10 more minutes myself. Let's rapid fire the next handful and get a chunk of these questions out, and I'll get one more round of some pick'ems before we go. Bob is back. McNichols in the passing game is the down back. Washington, but Bill an early down workout. We'll see. And they might, Washington might trade for another squad as well. He's got another one here. Talking about tight end, lost George Kittle, on the IR for the next 4 weeks. We love to see that. In one deeply, we got Schultz and Mason Taylor. Dave, I'm going to go straight to you as our resident tight end guru. You like Schultz early on. How you feeling about it? And a lot of people don't even know who Mason Taylor is.
Yeah, I like Mason Taylor for the long run. He's banged up this week, and they didn't really use him a lot last week in week 1 in the passing game. I think he's going to be good for the long haul, but Schultz had the most targets in Houston last week. So I'm going to take Schultz for the near term. Give me Schultz this week.
Got it. Let's move on here. A couple more questions, or not questions, but comments for Bob in the chat. Bob, we appreciate you. We probably won't post all those up, but listing ADOTs and stuff is totally awesome, man. Thank you for the nerd stats. We love to see that. Keep it coming. All right, Devin, good morning. Who would you start in a super flex between Rodgers and Flacco?
Neither one of us is going to run, so I go the guy that's going to throw more, and that's Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I'm going with Flacco as well.
Yeah, in the super flex spot, I want someone who can just light it up, and if he throws 40, 45 times, I'd rather have Flacco.
Matt, if there was no spread involved, just a straight up pick 'em, are you going Butte Community College or Delaware?
Oh, I would go Butte because it's cheaper.
Fair enough. I like that. In-state tuition for your boy as well. Yeah, I'm going to go Flacco as well. GR, good morning. Half PPR. I've got a little room on my bench holding Fannin. Juwan for week 2 without Kittle. RIP. Sorry to hear that. We got both a $5 fab total. I like that. So whoever ends up dropping isn't killer. Who are you starting this week? Strange over either. So basically, are we starting Fannin, Juwan Johnson of the Saints, or Strange?
I'm going to start Strange, and I would start Juwan Johnson right behind him because of the target share. He played 99% of snaps.
Insane.
For New Orleans in week 1. 99. That number's accurate. Yeah. He sat one play, and my guess would be either they just had a different set in, and some third string tight end was a inline blocker, or he had to go take a breath for one play. So I love the usage for Juwan. It's probably not going to be awesome, right? It's not going to be headline catching stuff, but 99% of the shares at the tight end position has to be recognized. So for me, still Strange. Juwan very close to that because of the snap share.
Yeah, for me, it's funny. Strange had like 3 catches in the first 5 minutes last week, and then he only had 1 catch the rest of the game. The Jaguars had control of that game fairly early, middle of the second quarter on, so they didn't really throw a ton after early in the game, and Strange did a lot of blocking. He's a really good blocker, by the way, from what I saw in that game last week. Juwan Johnson, to Matt's point, he played 74 of 75 snaps last week. If the Saints keep turning their games into track meets, I think Johnson is in for a big year. Without Taysom Hill, without Foster Moreau, he's got that position all to himself. So for this week, I think the Jaguars are going to have to throw more against the Bengals than they did against the Panthers last week. I'm probably going to lean Strange a little bit in this matchup, but I do love all 3 of those guys this week.
Yeah, I love me some Strange this week as well, especially going into Cincinnati. Cincinnati's notorious for being weak against tight ends, and we're expecting more of the same. 20 routes run last week for Strange. He did bring in 4 of 4 targets, 59 yards. We heard Jefferson say on his way out the door that he expects a touchdown as well today from Strange. So I'm with him on that. I'm going to go Strange over the other 2.
Fannin, of course, is the hotness, a big waiver wire pickup. I love the kid, and he had a huge week 1. David Njoku is still there. I think he does just fine. Also, Juwan Johnson's going to be shadowed, if you will, by Fred Warner and the boys. I don't like that at all for him. So I would go with Brenton Strange here also. Jets fans back. Pick 2, full PPR. Ibuka, Devontae Adams, Sutton, Adunze, and Waddle. Love the luxury here. Let's make it quick.
Waddle's not in this conversation anymore. And as much as it pains me to sit Ibuka, I'm probably starting Sutton and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I agree with sitting Ibuka this week. I just don't think it's a great matchup against Houston. So, yeah, give me Devontae Adams and Sutton as well. I just don't think Rome is a big volume guy yet. I think he's going to be great in the long run. And when the Bears get better with Ben Johnson's offense, I love him a lot, but not this week.
So I already said I'm on board with the Dolphins showing up this week. So I am going to roll with Waddle. That might be the only time you hear me say that this year, but I'm going to roll with Waddle and Sutton.
Whew. No, I don't trust Tua. Yeah, let's go Adams and Sutton, but I'll say it. Matt's being humble as usual. If Ibuka has anything close to what he had last week, it's wheels up all season long. GR's back, half PPR, Phil, 1 running back and 2 flex. 1 running back, 2 flex, Hampton, Pollard, Myers. That's Jacoby for his friends at home. Ibuka, Pearsall, and Aaron Jones. Who's that?
Vikings.
Facts.
Aaron Jones.
Yes, good. Ron. I think that's my order, and I just want to go for the 3 thoughts. So let's just make it quick. 1 running back and 2 flex.
I'm muted, so let me start over. Hampton as my running back. He wants 2 flex. Give me wide receiver on brand, Jacoby Myers and Ricky Pearsall.
Yeah, I'm going to go Pollard over Hampton and Aaron Jones, and I'm going to take Myers and Pearsall as well.
Yeah, same with Dave for me.
All right. I'm going to go Pollard and Ricky P, and I'm actually going to go Ibuka here. I love Jacoby Myers. I want the upside. Ibuka's got it. Solid. That's one of those weird like emojis that means nothing. Hey, anchor down, huh, Derek?
That's right. Anchor down.
What's up, guys? Full PPR. Adunze, Pickens.
Pickens for me, and is it a possibility this is Derek's first burner account?
There's more than one of us out there.
Yep. Yeah, but usually they're counting their crypto. Vanderbilt guys are counting crypto and all of their new money they've got hidden all over the world.
The Commodores.
Yes. Solid.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Pickens as well. I just like the matchup better.
Yeah, Pickens for me.
Matt, you'll love this. I just benched. So going through my rosters here before I check out. It's the hardest part of this whole program is making sure we actually set our own rosters while we do this for you all. So guys, don't forget to do that. Everyone looks at their phone immediately. Good work. I just benched Adunze for Tillman, Matt, and that was for you personally because I'm a company man. I'm going to go with Pickens here also. I think it's a nice bounce back for Dak and the boys. Cam's got another one here, super flex, 6-point touchdown PPR. We got Bryce Young. I got big things for him, but he had a terrible week 1. And then Tony Pollard. So quarterback versus running back here, 6-point per touchdown league.
I'm probably going Tony Pollard, but I need to see something more from Bryce Young and Tedrow McMillan. But it's very close for me because it is super flex. But you can win super flex without putting a quarterback in that super flex position. So give me the volume with Pollard. I need to see Bryce Young warm the engines a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of not using a bad quarterback in a super flex spot just because he's a quarterback. I don't think Bryce Young's going to have any easier of a time this week in Arizona than he had last week in Jacksonville. I'm going to take Pollard in this spot.
Yeah. And by the way, when I say warm the engines, that's not cool the engines, which is a rock song. We'll see if Sky or Dave gets it first. The artist that sang "Cool the Engines."
And while you guys are pondering that, just a quick stat. Bryce Young did have 40 yards rushing last week, but he also did have 2 picks, which negate the rushing yards. So you end up with 154 yards passing and a touchdown for your efforts. Now, I like Tony Pollard here as well. Like Matt said, you don't have to play a quarterback in the super flex and still be successful. And Pollard is the highest potential there. So give me Pollard over Bryce Young.
I'm going to go Pollard as well. And Matt fully cheated, but I'm going to be honest with you because we're family. That's Boston, 1986.
Correct.
Gentlemen, let's go back to the pick'ems real quick. We're going to knock these out. I'm going to do 2 more questions. I'm going to get out of here. We have Carolina on the road, 0-1 against the Red Zone. Arizona Cardinals 1-0, leading the NFC West. 6.5 point favorites, Arizona at home. Who we got?
Arizona, and I hope that Kyler gets his 23 rushing yards very early.
Nice. Dave?
I'm sorry, I didn't see the question. Is it?
Oh, no, we're posted? Back to – no worries. We're back to pick'ems here. We're going Panthers or Cardinals?
Oh, we're doing picks. Sorry. I was going through the inactives. What's the game? Cardinals.
Cardinals hosting the Panthers.
Yeah, I got the Cardinals.
All right, Jeff's going Cardinals as well. Derek, how about you?
Yeah, Cardinals for me, and it's 25 yards rushing, Matt, not 23.
Yeah, let's make it 26.
I want 23 early.
No, you want 25 early.
Yeah, true.
Denver on the road in Indy. Both teams in first place in their respective divisions. Denver's a 1.5 road favorite. Who we got?
Give me 2 touchdown Cortland Sutton Day for
Nice.
The Broncos in a win.
Yeah, I'm going to be interesting again and go with Indy. I think they can pull it out at home. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game for both teams.
Jeff is not
There we
interesting.
go.
He's
Pulling
going
it out
with Denver. Derek?
Yeah, I struggled with this one because I actually I don't hate the Colts so far. Again, I don't expect them to be the Colts we saw last week, and I think they'll make this a game. But in the end, I have to go with Denver.
I'm going to go with the Broncos as well. All right, 4 more games, gentlemen. Let's make it quick. We got Philly defending their title against the Chiefs here. Philly 1-0, Chiefs 0-1. Who do we got?
Philly.
Yeah, I'm going with Philly. Kansas City's just too beat up.
Yep, Philly. Casey starts 0-2.
I'm going Philly also. Jeff is going with Kansas City Chiefs. We got my Atlanta Falcons against the should-be 0-1 Minnesota Vikings. This game is in Minnesota. Who we got?
Minnesota at home.
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings at home as well. I think Atlanta's coming on, but not yet.
I have the Vikings reaching the Super Bowl, so that continues to roll today.
Jeff will agree with you. I will not. I'm going to stick with my Falcons. We got Tampa Bay on the road in Houston. Tampa Bay 1-0, Houston 0-1. Field goal for Houston here. I'll take the points for Tampa no matter what. Who we got?
Buccaneers for me.
2 words. Sorry, Matt.
I'll say the same thing. Sorry, Matt. I'm going Houston.
More than
Remember, I'm a Green Bay fan. I just have a
hometown allegiance
about Baker Mayfield, so no need to apologize.
Huge Simeon Rice fan, Matt. I like that. Yeah, Jeff is going to go with Houston as well. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And last game on the slate here, we got the Chargers 1-0. Dave's Raiders 1-0. The Chargers a 4-point road favorite.
Chargers and the points.
Yeah, I talk up the Raiders. I keep picking against them. Maybe after this week it'll be a different story, but I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I think the Chargers come back down to earth a little bit. Got up for the game versus KC down in the Southern Hemisphere, but they're back. They're in Sin City. Give me the Raiders for a slight upset.
Jeff's going to go with the Raiders as well. Derek, shout out for the geography lesson there. Throwing out a Southern Hemisphere for no reason. Good work. I'm going to go with my Chargers. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go with my Chargers. All right, I got 3 questions left in me, boys. Bill Dino, shifting to the G League. Who would you rather have in the flex spots here? We need 2 of these guys. We got Brian Robinson Jr., Noah Fant. Is that really an option? Najee Harris, Troy Franklin. Go Ducks. Just don't be last. That's the rules in Guillotine. Obviously, Bill, I wrote the rules literally. Don't follow them myself. Kind of a rebel. So I'm out. But who we got here? We need 2 flex positions. Let's do it.
For Bill's sake, I hope he has a wonderful roster above those 2 flex spots. Otherwise, he might be last. I'm going Franklin, and I think CMC is going to have a massive amount of touches today. But that means that they're going to have to monitor that to some extent. And Brian Robinson's probably going to get every 3rd series. They're going to be on the field a lot. It's going to be a foot race, right? This is going to be a back and forth, whether it's 3 and outs or what. I think Brian Robinson gets more touches this week than he would have in the past. I'm not chasing Noah Fant's touchdown from week 1. Najee's not there yet, so give me Franklin. I'm confident with targets in Franklin, and give me Brian Robinson Jr., but I don't love any of the other 3 names.
I'm probably going to go with Fant just because I think since he's probably going to have to use him more again than Gesicki this week. I think they used him more last week because he's a better blocker. Gesicki's just a mannequin out there as a blocker. They don't even ask him to block. I'm going to take Fant, and I'm going to take Brian Robinson and just hope for a touchdown. I know Franklin had a decent week last week, but he's still the third wide receiver in Denver, and I just don't think Najee's up for a full load yet.
Yeah, the key to guillotine is look for the floor, a solid floor, not necessarily chasing the ceiling. And unfortunately, all of these guys, to me, are more of a ceiling play. So that being said, if the Niners get up early, if they do, I don't know if they do, but if they do, I think Robinson's going to spell CMC a little bit more, so they can keep him fresh. So I'm willing to roll the dice there. And I hear what you say with Noah Fant, and I'm not opposed to that. I think Cincinnati's going to play well today, but I think Troy Franklin actually has more return value there. So I'll go Robinson and Franklin, but I'm really not loving any of these options, to be honest with you.
I'm gonna go with the duck and the elephant. And Bill, I hope you can figure that out. Duck and elephant from me. Billiam Jones has the emojis there. That's offense. Of course, that's defense. I love the old D gate back in the day, the old signs and the awesome. 2 questions here. We got Cosmo back. Need a wide receiver and a flex half PPR. Tetaroa, Pearsall, Javonte.
The front for the Giants is stiff. Give me Tetaroa and Pearsall. I don't trust Javonte even after 2 touchdowns in week 1. And I'm okay being wrong. So give me the wide receivers.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Tet and Pearsall as well. I just don't I think Javonte's stats were inflated by Jalen Carter being booted out of the game. I'm just not ready to trust him yet.
Yeah, same for me. Dallas is going to need the extra body for pass protection, honestly. So give me the 2 wide receivers.
Likewise. This is the last question for me, but before I go here, I want to give a shout out to Bill Dino, showing his age with the Boston reference in Matt's question earlier. Well done, Bill. Thank you. I pride myself on classic rock. Boston isn't in my list. No disrespect. And then also, Matt, I'm going to leave you to eat official Savage on your own time as I get out of here with his 0-1 Lions against your 2-0 Packers. I'll let you handle that off the air. Let's go to my boy Hiram Gatto Jr., and I'll get out of here. Start 1 in a PPR. We got Mooney, Ridley, Kupp, and Calvin Austin.
Very interesting. So I'm going to give an answer to this after you guys give me an answer to my question. Currently in my flex, RJ Harvey. Players I could place in for him: Jordan Mason, Jaden Higgins, Bateman, Calvin Austin, Butte, Hunter Henry, and Mooney. Would you start RJ Harvey over those names?
Mason.
Jordan Mason for me.
Yep, and that's where I was leaning. Okay, makes sense. Start 1 PPR. For me, it's going to be Ridley, followed by Calvin Austin. I want to see Mooney fully healthy first.
Yeah, Mooney's coming off a shoulder injury, and Kupp didn't do a whole heck of a lot last week. I know he got some targets. And Austin, I don't know. I can't get behind him over Calvin Ridley in any circumstance. Give me Ridley in this situation.
I'm willing to roll the dice on Mooney. He's completely off the injured list, and the Vikings have been pretty porous against wide receivers. So I'll roll the dice with Mooney. I think the favorite pick is probably going to be Ridley, but I don't mind rolling with Mooney.
The favorite pick is Ridley for me as well, but Drake London's a little bit beat up from last week. So we'll see if he's a decoy or if he's actually healthy, right? It went from like a 4-week absence with a broken shoulder basically to like, oh, he's playing. So we'll see if that actually works or not. If not, Mooney could go off this week. I'm going to start Ridley, but Mooney would be my guy. Gentlemen, I got to get out of here. You got a handful of questions left. Everybody in the chat, we have 18 minutes until kickoff. Feel free to drop in the rest of your questions. And, of course, make sure you check us out during the week right here on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any updates. Hit the podcast at the Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast for all your audio. You can find everything on X at RazzballNFL. And, of course, you can get all of our articles and our exclusive tools, like Derek had mentioned earlier on, at football.razzball.com for free. So make sure you check us out. Best of luck in week 2, everybody. Have a ton of fun. Gentlemen, I'll check in with you later.
All right, boys, I got to go relatively soon, too. So let's, unless you have any arguments against it, let's just rattle through these and we'll wrap it up. Last question, full PPR. Got to sit one. Waddle, Ridley, DJ Moore, Dave.
Wow. I hate to pick Waddle over Ridley, but I'm gonna take Waddle at home over Ridley at home. So I'm gonna sit Ridley. DJ Moore starting for me.
Yeah, I'm probably leaning the same way as well. I'm probably going to sit Ridley.
All right, I am going to sit Waddle. Marius checks in. Hollywood, Tyreek Hill, or Pickens, pick 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Hill and Pickens. I know Hollywood got a ton of targets last week, and he may get a ton of targets again this week. I like Tyreek to bounce back, and I like Pickens to bounce back.
Yeah, I'll go the same.
Same. I love Hollywood, but I'm going to wait a week. And Derek and I, we nabbed him in Fab in our home league, but we are also sitting him if that helps. Marius, appreciate the question. I'm not going to rub it in after 1 week or after 2 weeks here to Savage. I know that he's a Lions fan. It hurts. He's going to be 500 after this week. So we'll just answer the question. Standard scoring, or PPR standard scoring. So we're going to go, that's 1 point PPR. Jacoby Myers, Hollywood Brown, or Javonte Williams in the flex. Dave, which of those 3 are you going to start?
Yeah, I featured Myers in my home away splits article as a start. I'm going to start him here over the other 2 guys. Look, I usually it's going to be the running back in most situations, but I just don't. I don't really care much for Javonte Williams against the Giants front. And again, Hollywood, I think, is probably a little bit of a week 1 overreact. So I'm going to go with Myers.
Yeah, totally agree with Dave. Give me Myers here.
That's all 3 of us are going to go with Myers. All right. Vikings fan, I have to chuckle that Jair Alexander's a healthy scratch. So do I. I laugh. He talked his way out of Green Bay, forced his way out of Green Bay. So, Baltimore, you get what you get. All right, we have one final question, and then we can run through any lineup questions that the 2 of you guys have. I have one more for you. From Epic Fail, PPR pick 2, Keon Coleman, Jamison Williams, Tyler Warren. No, that's not Tyler Warren, is it? Colts? No.
Jalen
Warren. I'm sorry. I've got our Tyler Warren on the brain, Derek. That'll show you how good I feel about that pick. And Calvin Ridley against the Rams. Dave, real quick, and then we'll wrap it up.
I'm going to go with J-Mo, and I'm going to go with Jalen Warren.
Yeah, well, this is actually kind of an interesting one because it is a nice transition to my question. I know we have one more after that, but I actually like the first 2. I'm going to go Coleman and Jamison. But regarding that situation in Pittsburgh with the running backs, I picked up Caleb Johnson this week in one of my guillotine leagues. And do I play him over Judkins, who's making his first start, probably get limited action? Or do I run Ollie Gordon, or do I run Cam Scattaboo? I need one of those running backs. Which one gives me the best floor? Realizing that floor is more of a step.
You need 6 points, right? Probably 7 points. I would probably lean Scatabo because he has a defined role. The champ just chimed in and said Judkins is starting today. Right. I don't think that matters.
I know that it is, but I don't expect him to take a full workload.
No, neither do I.
I expect him to be limited, and as he should be. Do I run with that and just take what I get, or does Caleb Johnson get much of anything? We just talked about Warren.
No, for me, I'm going Scatabo in your scenario. Floor is volume, and I think that they're going to be trailing, and I think he's going to get some looks. So I don't love it for you. I hate it for you, but I would probably go Scatabo and then don't look until all the games are over. And for the epic fail question, I'm going Calvin Ridley and I'm going Jameson.
And what say you, Dave?
I'm going to go with I'm going to take a flyer on Ollie Gordon this week. I saw him play last week. I liked what I saw. They were just so far out of that game that he really didn't get a chance to play. I don't think that game this week gets away from them. I think he's going to get a few more shots.
And Jalen Wright is out.
I don't think they want to run Achane into the ground. I think they'd like to spell him a little bit more than they were able to last week.
And Jalen Wright is officially out.
Right. All right. That was absolutely no help. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Yeah. All right. Javonte or Tony Pollard. I'm pretty sure PPR or non-PPR, all three of us agree it's going to be Tony Pollard.
Yes.
And the last one we've got is the update that Judkins is starting. Thank you, Bob. We hear you. My question for you guys in a PPR league, flex, I have DeAndre Swift, and I could start Cedric Tillman over Swift. Would you start Tillman over Swift? Swift is at Detroit, so inside. Tillman is on the road at Baltimore.
I'm still going to go with Swift. I just think he's going to touch the ball more. I do like Tillman against Baltimore, but I still think Swift touches the ball more. And, we've had revenge game narratives on this show. Here's one.
Yeah, I agree. And 5 targets last week. I mean, he didn't do a lot on the ground, but I like the 5 targets as well. So I'm going to stay with Swift.
All right, that's where I was leaning for volume. If I preach volume, I should keep preaching it. All right, Derek and Dave, thank you guys for hanging with me. Thank us for hanging with everybody else. Derek, you have a bet to place. I know that, so you've got just about 10 minutes left to do that. And I think thank you, everybody, for logging in, even Official Savage. I know it's hard to show your face in here today, but it is week 2. It's no longer week 1, so it's no hard feelings. Good luck to you, Bob, as well. Make sure you keep that 27-point lead. I wish you the best. I'd like to see you to be the first Raz Bowl and Raz Slam champion in the history of Raz things. Derek, anything to add, or Dave, anything to add? If not, Derek, run us out of here.
Yeah, anchor down, Cam. Anchor down.
Yeah. Go get them, Bob. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, we'll see you next time. This was fun.
All right, we'll see you Sunday.